your challenge?
Mine, obviously I'm pretty laid back. If you haven't noticed, I'm very relaxed.
Your business has grown exponentially. You must have.
Yeah, we're like,
challenges at
our
this
worst
point.
year was 26% growth. Like,
That's
in
pretty
Italy,
good.
it's not bad. I mean, it's not like we're exponential, but I mean, no
You're
one's
growing.
gonna be mad at 26% growth every year. So like this July will be 5 years. So like we're doing well. So, like, but my biggest issue now that we have a team, like again, I'm about as laid back as you get. Like, I couldn't actually tell you, honestly, the last time I yelled at someone.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, I actually can't think of the last time I yelled at someone. Like, I am about as laid back as I come. And to the point that, like, my team make jokes about the fact that they can't even see me get mad at someone.
That's fair.
But-
That's good,
But,
probably.
yes, but on the other side of that is, like, there's definitely issues around, like, accountability.
Yep.
And, like, say I set these goals and you're not hitting them, that they don't see me as that
And you're all remote,
person.
right?
Yeah, or 100% remote.
So but why don't you set minimums? Like he said,
Yeah, like
200 UCI.
but that's where-
You're cut.
Yeah. But that's things like we don't have that, right? It's already because we don't have they're employees, which is different. But like we don't have, because like, okay, so different than your business, like, right? It's me.
Yeah.
I look at gross revenue. Someone in sales on our team will look at gross revenue or what they bring in. But like Jen, who does our social media, nothing to do. Oh, like obviously there's a lot to do with revenue there, but like she doesn't see it. Okay, like Maureen, who puts in the ads, she doesn't see the revenue. She's like, okay, I got to listen to that. I put it in, right?
Okay,
Like,
but what
so it's
you
different
just
goals
spit
for
out
each.
to him, why don't you the team? The team.
Yeah, no, so, like, we
let the
have
team pay
a-
attention
What if the
to
team
gross.
gets a 30% growth?
So as our
increase,
team,
you know,
our
like-
goal, our metric we're tracking internally is average client retention length. So coming into this year, the average client was 5.9 months.
Who gets a
I
six?
want that by I want it by the end of the year to be at 9.
12.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I was joking.
Yeah.
But
And then like obviously like, because no matter what, anything you're gonna do when you're in a retention based model, you can't have 100% retention.
No.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
But like right now we're at a 5. Our average client is 5.9 months. I mean, 4.5 years in, like we have people who've been here from the start, and there's a lot
Heather's
of people.
getting
in
married
there.
today.
Yeah.
Oh, she's married already.
Yeah, but so like that's what we're looking at. Is like, okay, so like when I first started tracking it, we were at like a 4.8, and like so I've been implementing things. We got up to a 5.9. As a team, I want to get that up to a 9, like as our next benchmark, and then after that, I want it to be at a year, and then probably 1.
So what's your next to do?
And for this, like, use the bathroom for this part, like, I don't know if you heard of it, is like, my biggest issue is because I'm so laid back, is that they almost can't take me seriously when I'm trying to be tough. And that's where, like,
Is
it's
that
a
what they
challenge.
say to you?
Oh, they've literally made jokes
They've,
about
like,
it,
laughed
right?
when you're
So, like,
talking
one of the things,
about
like,
it.
I brought my, so, like, literally, the last team, so every Monday at 11:30, we do a team call. So it's like our weekly stand-up where everyone goes and gives, here's what I'm doing this week, here's what I need help on, and they also add in a personal update. That takes about 20 minutes. Then we go into, okay, here's the topic of this one. So, like, one week it's, all right, as a group, let's define our core values. Maybe the next week it's, hey, we have this coming up. What's the best way to approach this? Or like right now, like as mentioned, like we're getting rid of talking about leads. So like we're rebuilding our services
Sure.
page.
Yep.
So the designer just came back with the first draft. So I showed it to the team, and as a team we went through the page, like, what do you guys want to see differently? How could we change this? That was the goal that week. But it all starts with one personal update. What are you working on this week, and do you need any help with anything? But they were literally at one point joking, because like, again, it's like, because I'm so laid back of, we can't even picture you getting mad at one of us. But like, there needs to be, as much, like, I hate the idea of like leading with fear, and I never want to have that, because that's terrible. But there is still, needs to be a little bit more of a bounce back the other way.
Yeah.
What if you have somebody else do that?
So I have
Sure.
brought my brother in, who is doing that a bit. So like, one, he is very fine being a dick if he has to be. I have a lot of problems. Like my, like, literally it
Good cop,
hurt.
bad cop.
Like I've had to
Yeah.
let go 2 people since we started the business. Which is not bad, but like I hate letting people go. He like doesn't like it, but he also has no problem doing it. Like for me, like I'm gonna work up to it for a week.
Gotcha.
And then I'm gonna like dread doing it.
So what if he was your accountability, like?
Yeah, he is low. So we're working on that a bit, and that's like who I go to for that. Like, he's just like, shut up and just do it. Like, just do it. Like, rip the Band-Aid, get in there and do it. But yeah, like I still have to get past that. Like, my laid back personality, it works for me, but I'm also very driven. So while I am very laid back, I push hard.
Yeah. And you expect people to do the same, but if they don't...
but like, employees, it's different. Because they don't have that GCI.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have that goal to chase. So it's that, how can I motivate them and keep them accountable, knowing that, okay, maybe I can bonus them or do something like that, but keep them accountable and them want to stay accountable when it's not like, they know I'm not going to come and just, like, lose it on them, because I just don't do that.
Yeah.
You can't just fire them.
I mean, I can, but
yeah, but
I don't. No, but like like for me, when I fire someone, because again, twice, I look at not as them failure. I look at it as my failure.
Valid, but it's both.
Yes, like there's no way they don't have fault in that. But like if I let someone go or fire someone, or even if they quit, because that's also happened. If that happens, I look at it as my fault. Like I didn't
look back at
them
it as the hire problem.
So early on, it was 100% I just sucked at hiring.
Yeah.
So like the first time I ever hired,
that
it was
scares
actually
me. I'm
it's
like,
also
great.
partially a funny story of like I had the
Ah.
most stereotypical millennial that you could ever have. Like I hired, so when I first started the company, I got up within 3 or 4 months. I got up to like 17, 18 grand a month on a 425 a month package, and I was the only person. So I was just like running myself ragged for not enough money. But like 17, 18 grand a month, when you're coming from making 60 grand a year, is a fucking great thing. And my costs were minimal.
Yeah.
So I was making a lot of money, but I was working like 18 hours days. And I was like, I just need someone. And I was like, I just put it on an ad.
This is talking about desperation hires, right?
So and this is one of the lessons. So like I hired, and I'm just like, all right, here's this group of people. I'm just going to take who I think of this group is the best. It wasn't necessarily the right fit. I was just like, of this group of people, this is the best one. So we talked to her. She seemed almost like a mini me. Like, I joked that I used to be a professional Googler. I didn't know stuff about marketing. I just Googled it. Obviously a lot different now, but at then I Googled everything I didn't know, taught myself, and went with it. She did the same. So I was like, great, has that mentality. So I hired her on like a Tuesday. Thursday was training. I'm like, we're meeting at 9 a.m. She lived downtown. I went down to her. She's like, 9 doesn't, like, can we do 10? I'm like, all right, we'll do 10 to 5. She's like, it's a long day of training. I won't retain anything. Why don't we just do till 1? And again, back to the laid back. I'm like, all right. So meet at 10. She's late. I'd given her a book to read. I'm like, how'd the book go? She's like, I left it on the subway, so if you can get me another copy, that'd be great.
Oh.
I'm just sitting there like...
those are all like great
So I'm training her for like
happened.
10 to like 12:30. They're supposed to end at 1. And they're like, oh, by the way, so I made a deal with her because I was only paying her like $16 an hour at the time. I made a deal with her that sometimes we get like people want us to build a Squarespace website for them. And I was like, that will keep separate, and I'll just give you half of our fee for that. This is like a bonus, because this is just bonus work. We don't get that often, but like I'll charge $3,000 for a Squarespace site. It literally takes us at the time 6 hours to build. You'll take half. That's your special bonus on the side. So in the last half hour, I showed her how to build a Squarespace site. She goes, oh, cool, this is something I'll actually enjoy doing. And I was like, then we get in the elevator. I'm like, before we go, why don't we just go grab lunch? And I was like, where do I go? She goes, well, I'm a vegan, so it's hard to find somewhere. So she's like, how about Freshie? And I'm like, sure. Waiting in line at Freshie, I'm like, so how long you been a vegan? She goes, I really don't like labels, and I really appreciate not being labeled that way. I'm like, you just said.
You just labeled
like,
yourself
you
that.
just told me. And then the kick, and this is like, she's at that end of that day, I'm like, I go home to my wife, I'm like, I think I have to fire her. My wife's like, no, you're being too hard. Like, I know you and how hard you work. You're never gonna find someone like that. You have to give them a chance. I listened to her, I'm like, okay. I ignored the red flags. Hi. So you're supposed to start the next Monday, 9 a.m. I'm like, so Sunday night or Sunday afternoon, like 1, I message her and I'm like, 9 a.m. let's do a call. We're gonna go over what I need you to do tomorrow, and then by like 9:30 you'll be working. Like 6 o'clock, I get a text message back. So I'm at a yoga retreat. It's 2 weeks long. We're not supposed to have our phones on during it. I will turn it back on Wednesday though, and we can touch base then about the next steps.
Oh, you get the like true millennial.
Yeah, it's like every stereotype. Wow. So at that point, I just sent it to my wife. I'm like, still think I should give her a chance? And she just rolled her eyes, and then I just responded, don't worry about it, I'll find someone else. So like part of me is like, was she just doing that like she realized it wasn't a good fit? That was her way of quitting?
It's a smart way to do it, I guess.
Like that was the passive aggressive quit, but like man, like every millennial stereotype just hit in that one shot. It was unbelievable.
Did she mention CrossFit?
Or avocado toast or something?
No.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah. No,
Wow.
That's like but luckily that was higher 1. So like it was like hard, and then I got lucky for second.
You found out early, which is great.
Yeah, but higher 2 I got lucky. So what happened is there's a woman I went to high school with who was like a high level EA. Like she was doing like $85K a year as an assistant, like high level, like top of the line.
Wow.
And after this experience, I'm like, I don't know it. Like I know I suck at hiring now because I hired that person. So I went to her and be like, Sarah, I need someone like you. Can I pay you to hire someone like you? Like you write the job ad, you interview the applicants, and I will pay you. And she's like, sure, happy to do it. So we sit down and I'm mapping out, so we go grab lunch. I'm like, I'll pay for lunch, let's sit down, let's map everything out of like what I need. And as I'm mapping it out, she's like, it's like 10 hours a week. I only work 35 right now. Just pay me, I'll do the 10 hours. I have flexibility in my current job. Mm-hmm. Like, I can do it on demand for that 10 hours at the start. And I was like, deal. So I paid her like $30 an hour on the side. And she's like, yeah. And she was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually, because like, basically she got the taste of like the entrepreneurial world because it was just me and her. And eventually like went to a startup and did that, so I lost her that way. But now I knew what I needed, I knew what I wanted, and that's when we went with
and you had like all the kinks worked out of the job,
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was
failed forward.
Yeah.
Oh, I failed a lot.
Yeah.
Like I know that everyone.
The only way.
But like people talk about, because like obviously I do a lot on social, and a lot of people see it and they're like, "Man, you've just been like." Well, like, okay, you don't see.
There's
like,
also
even,
like this.
Even
nobody
if
sees that.
But like, if I started here, and really, because like I was a trainer for Remax, like they literally put me on a stage and paraded me around as like, you're the expert. So when I started, I wasn't here. They put me up here. So I didn't have to do this growth. I just had to said, I'm available for hire now.
Yeah.
And so like literally week 1, I put like 15 grand in my account. And then by like week 6, I had more than replaced my salary. Like it was fast. I couldn't have done that if they didn't put me on that stage. So like I had that like initial growth, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So yeah, like this learning curve is gone. I just have to do this. But yeah, like there's been a lot of like I was talking about, like that 17 grand a month I got to really fast.
Yeah.
Like I maybe have 2 of them left on a different package now because like I quickly realized that 1, I wasn't charging enough. I couldn't handle that work, and because I couldn't handle the work at that many, I lost most of them from like poor service. Yeah. So I think I dropped down to like 7 a month after that, and then figured out what I needed and back up again. And like it's like you're trying. Like obviously we've been trending up with a 24% rate, but it's still up and down. It's part of the fun of business.
Yep.
Never stops.
It does.
No, that's
business is business, right? Whether it's real estate or
But I still hate a lot of what movies do to people in business. Like when they're like, it's business, not personal. I'm like, it's still fucking personal.
It's still personal.
Like that's still like my house that I'm working towards. It's my family I'm feeding. Like I understand what you mean.
Emotions that you're feeling.
Yeah.
Well, like
I'm
people
pretty,
say like it's
emotional.
business, not personal. It's like the the no offense.
They're
but,
trying to
like,
justify being a dick at that point.
Oh.
Well,
Uh-oh.
you can still see on the screen you're here. So we just lost the ring light. That's fine.
Your battery pack ran out.
It's true, it did.
Should have plugged it in. Oh man.
It's not the worst idea we've ever had.
It feels so dark in here now.
Yeah. It's
Well,
moody.
we've been like bright lights.
I
We should end.
Oh, my
maybe.
phone died,
1
too.
o'clock.
Okay, quickly, some tips for speaking to the new speakers, because you speak a lot.
I would love that.
Okay, so one, when you're on stage, you have to remember, because most people, there's the confidence issue there. One, the second you're on stage, they assume you know the most about the topics. You don't have to like,
But you
are
do.
they going to believe
You
me?
do, don't you?
Well, I do. Okay, generally speaking, if I'm in a room of realtors, the odds that anyone knows more about Facebook ads than me is pretty small.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm going to go in there and say database marketing, I will be pretty confident I know more than 90% of the room. But if Jeff's in the room, there's a pretty good chance he knows more about database marketing than me. But if we're going Facebook ads, I'm going to tell you right now, maybe you could be on par with me. But the odds, no, like in the real estate industry, there are people I'd say are probably on par with me with Facebook ads, but like there are people who also run competitors.
Yeah.
Right? But even that, I'm like, I'm still not confident they know as much because I nerd out.
Yeah.
But okay, let's move to SEO. I know a lot about that. I can speak about that in a real estate room. I'm pretty confident I'll be one of the top guys. But you put me next to like Melanie Pichet on SEO, she probably knows more about SEO than me. I'm actually pretty confident that she knows more about SEO than I do.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, first only speak on that topic that you're like, if I'm in that room, I do know more than almost everyone. And people will believe that just because you're on stage. And the other thing to remember is they're actually rooting for you to do a good job.
Yeah.
Like everyone thinks like, oh,
They're there to
people-
get something from you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like they want you to do a good job.
Yeah.
They're
So, like,
hoping. They're hoping to
yeah,
get
like
something.
They're not
guys
like
say we're-
hoping you trip. They're
Yeah,
hoping
no one
you
like.
perform. Yeah.
Yes, there's a little bit of fun
Maybe.
in watching a train wreck.
Maybe.
Like there is fun in watching a train wreck. Like train
Oh,
wrecks
it's
got a lot of views.
uncomfortable though. Like, yeah.
But you still like seeing it. But that's not why they're there. Like they would rather you do really well. So like you literally,
Yeah.
the room there is wanting you to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
But the big one is like, and it's just repetition and knowing your shit. Like the
Knowing
biggest
your
mistake a lot of people make is like they're so reliant on like the slides or anything like that. Like if you look at the slides I put up, if there's even words on the screen, I never try to put more than like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Because
I don't have
if
any
there's
presentation tomorrow.
oh tomorrow I'm none, but
Like none.
Yeah,
You're not
I got
allowed to, I don't think.
so some rooms have it, and I might be in a room that has it, but even then, like, I actually now am going back to presentations where I would rather go in with an easel and a Sharpie
Yeah.
than I would with a screen.
Yeah.
Because I like that tactile feeling. And
It's
that,
almost like a TED Talk, right?
Yeah.
More. That's
Yeah,
kind of
basically.
the approach.
Because, like, yeah, but it's again, like, as long as you know your shit,
Yes.
it's fine. And you'll be okay. But it's like, don't do any of that, like, picture them naked. Like,
Yeah.
screw that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And know that, like, if anything that could screw up will probably screw up at some point if you're doing enough. Like, I had to do a live demo of the Facebook Ads Manager at the National Association of Realtors Conference. It's the biggest real estate conference in the world. 20,000 people show up to this conference. I got picked to speak. My mentor, who I was paying for coaching, had never been picked to speak there before. So this is like to me, like a fucking huge deal. And I got picked for how to properly build Facebook ads. Just literally,
Live.
I pull up the Ads Manager live, and I
Got
walk through it building
Yeah.
this. And
That's the time
I feel
you
like
forgot
this
your
isn't a good
password.
No.
story.
That's
like,
when you forgot your password
no,
for sure.
I did not forget my password.
That's when you got, like,
I had
notifications.
hardline internet, wireless, and tether. Like I was ready. Like if this internet breaks, like this. So 2 hardline internets stopped working. Both Wi-Fi stopped working. Then the public Wi-Fi and 2 phones being tethered stopped. None of the internets worked on any of them.
Okay.
So I had to do a live walkthrough of the Facebook Ads Manager without the ability to go on the internet.
Oh.
And if you
That's
don't
like
know
your
your
nightmare.
shit-
That's like you probably have work nightmares about that.
Oh, that like
Wi-Fi's not working.
man, it was brutal. Because like the other thing is, you still have to hold their attention during it.
Yeah.
So
you
that
like
one I
making
actually
jokes?
got kind of lucky that I'm in the States. So in my head I was thinking like, okay, I have to do something here to like there because I get this objection when talking to Americans of like, okay, but you're Canadian, you don't understand what we go through. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go into this room, make light of that, and like attack that objection. So I walk in, I'm like, yes, I'm Canadian. The only difference is if I break that leg my wife wished me this morning, take me to the airport, not the hospital, so I can get back to my suite for healthcare. And then because the internet's not working, now I'm like, okay, now I got to keep attention without a screen, without the entire content I have planned. I'm like, I'm going to walk around the room. But it's a room built for a computer demo, not a walker. So I fucking tripped, fell.
But you got their attention.
But I stood up right away, and I don't even know how I thought of this quickly. I go, whew, you guys almost had to take me to the airport there. And it got them back in, and that quick, and then I, luckily, so if you know the ads manager, there's the left bar where it's objective, location, and the very basic, that showed up, nothing else would load. So looking at that, I was able to still walk through the presentation because I knew the content.
Yeah. You're like, and then this will come up.
Yeah,
usually.
Never go into an important presentation with that being the first time you've done it.
Yeah.
Right? If you just go do it to your office or your spouse or someone, but
okay.
Or just do it to yourself with a camera on or in a mirror enough that you know what it is. For me, my slides are guideposts because I know what I'm like. I go on tangents all the time. If you come to my presentation 10 times, it might be 80% the same, but there's different versions of the story. There's different examples I'm giving, or maybe something happened, something we're talking about tonight probably is going to make it into my presentation tomorrow.
Yeah, same.
Right? Stuff's going to change.
Yeah.
And so my slides are just guideposts. Yeah. How I get, if I'm going to go this way to get to the guidepost, or this way, or this way, or this way, or that way, I don't know until I'm on
and
that
you don't want to be
trip.
scripted, to the point.
Really, for me, I basically have, a set of jokes I know work with most audiences.
I feel like I've heard them all.
Probably. You've heard me enough. Most people have heard my eggplant emoji joke I do on stage. It's pretty common.
It's a good one. It's
basically guaranteed. It probably will. It guarantees laughs, and actually 2 rounds of laughs every time, which is why I like it. I guaranteed 2 rounds of laughter on that one, so I like that one. I have a Google joke of if you ever want to hide a dead body, just put it on the 3rd page of Google, because no one's ever gonna look there. I have these set super nerdy jokes I go to because I know they get laughs. So it's I have those standbys that I can go to. And then the other is before you do a presentation, find out who's in the audience, whether it's on an individual level or as a group. Because if I come into a room of instead of realtor, obviously coming from the real estate industry, and being an agent, I know the struggles you guys are having. I speak with on the show or other places. I speak with top producers every single day. I know exactly the challenges that you guys are going through. Yeah. If I now went to a room of chiropractors, I don't know. I could roughly business challenges know, but I can't speak to I know you talk to me about recruiting challenges. I can now speak to you intelligently exactly about the challenge of recruiting agents and what those agents are going through to want to join your team. If a chiropractor is I want to recruit chiropractors, I'm okay, well, are the people that you're trying to recruit, are they fresh out of school? Are they already getting a salary? Are they have to find their own clients? I don't know that. Mm-hmm. So I will, if I'm the odd time I speak on non-real estate, I want to call people in that industry.
I didn't even know you did that. Non-real estate.
I charge a lot more. Because sometimes you get asked, so I'll be yeah, $5,000, sure. And if they're willing to pay me $5,000, I'll go speak at anything. But if I'm speaking chiropractors, a gardening association asks me to come. What? I don't even garden. I pay someone to do that. So I'm this gardening association. I'm gonna call up gardeners and be one, I'm gonna ask people to book me who in your association that does this can I talk to? And what's the struggles you're having? Because if you don't know what they're going through, I can give specific examples. So if I'm coming, even just as an agent, if I'm coming to speak in Ottawa, let's use Ottawa as an example. It's a very different market than Toronto. How much is government work where it's very stable? So you don't have this huge this potentially. Yeah. It's more this, much more stable. The challenges they're going through can be a lot different. Whereas if I'm going to Collingwood, it's maybe it's 60% recreational, which is very different. But then you also have local sales. Yeah. So I want to know when I'm talking. Is it those
seasonal agents or is it local?
Because if I'm talking to someone in Newmarket. When I'm running through the Facebook ads manager, as an easy example, I'm going to be talking about okay, here's how you target people who live here with your ads for sellers. But if I go to Collingwood, if we're targeting sellers, they live in Toronto.
Yeah.
Now how we're going to target them is very different. So if I come into them talking about how you target a new market versus Collingwood, that's completely different scenario.
Yeah.
And if you come in talking about Toronto and how you target someone there, you immediately lose the audience because they immediately know you're full of shit. And you don't know what they're going through.
Yeah.
So you want to know who that audience is. So like I know tomorrow's audience at The Buzz is basically what it is it's everybody from the online Facebook groups.
Yeah.
So I know you're on social already, you're active on social,
No.
and you probably follow or engage with a lot of the same people I do. So I can reference and I know where you are versus like I might go to a presentation where I know going into it, 90% of the room barely knows their Facebook login password. Whereas
Very
the people
different,
tomorrow
like,
are
yeah.
engaged on Facebook. They may not be good at it, they may not be getting business from it,
Yeah.
but they're trying.
Yeah.
That's
Whereas,
the
like,
different
for
group.
you tomorrow, then going in, you know, you've got people coming in late, you've got people that were out drinking tonight. But yeah, like, they are at, like, some level of
Oh, you
social
never want to be
media.
the first one if there's a networking event the night before. That's
Thanks, guys.
That's what he is. He's 9 a.m.
Thanks, guys.
yeah.
No, but honestly, though, like, you have that.
We'll all be there. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Nice, thanks.
Ideal
Thanks.
speaking slot in my
Is it
scenario.
the last one? Because that's the
No,
other one.
the
Yeah.
last one's the worst. Because everyone's
round,
on the
first
road,
lunch.
they're going
Cheers,
home.
we'll be fine.
You
We'll
want
be fine.
so here's what you want. Now there's two
10
scenarios
a.m.
here.
and
For
then 1
me,
a.m.,
where
1 p.m.
I'm
Right after
selling
lunch?
to the audience.
No, 10
I'm not
a.m.
selling on spot, but essentially,
Yeah.
let's be honest, I'm selling to people there. I want a slot either before a break or before lunch because I want you to be able to finish and not rush to another session. I want you to stay and talk to me.
Yeah.
So, like, what I'll do sometimes, I will waive speaking fee in exchange for a booth, the email list of everyone there, and I get to choose the speaking slot. I want first day before lunch, and I also want to know when everyone else is speaking because I want to be able to be, okay, I'm first day before lunch.
That's why they gave Mark Ferris before lunch. the bastard.
If you know, but, like, for him, it's different, right? Like, he's not selling to them.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right? But I am. So like if I've literally gone to a conference, they're like, my speaking fee is $5,000, like we can't afford that. I'm like, okay, but if you give me the email list of everyone and permission to market to them, you give me my choice of booth, which means I want the highest traffic spot, and I want to be visible from the stage I'm speaking on, so I can just point.
Yeah.
And then I want to be the time slot I pick. And I also want to know what's going on for lunch. So if I'm generally going to pick the one before lunch, but I also want to know what's happening for lunch. Are you going to a different room? Are you bringing back your meal here?
Yeah.
Are people going to restaurants? Because if they're going to restaurants,
Then-
I'm going to be like, I'm going to this restaurant. If you want to chat more and just talk about what I talked about on stage, come meet me at this restaurant. If it's a box lunch, I'm going to be like, anyone who wants to chat with me, bring your box lunch over here. If we're going out to a buffet, I'd be like, I'm going to go into this area if you want to come sit with me over there. Like, you need to know if
Yeah.
you're selling to them. You want to know. But even for you, like, if you were speaking, you want to get those referrals.
I think I have
Same
like a
idea.
2-minute window,
Yeah.
so that won't be. it won't
No,
be
so
much.
that's like, so if I look at my 2 sessions tomorrow, I'm back to back. There's a 10-minute gap. So like, I'm going to end in one, and I have a 10-minute gap
Are you gonna
to
do all the
find
same
the
jokes?
other room. Oh, 100%. Like, do you think comedians change their act every time they go
No,
on
they
stage?
perfect
No.
it, so
Like,
it's
if
fine.
you want to get into good public speaking, study comedians. That's the hardest job, is comedians. It's
Yeah.
tough. So all the studying I do now in public speaking is what a comedian's doing, because that's tough. So, but they find the things that hit, and they just go hard on that. And when I know a joke works, I'm going to use it.
Yep.
But it's not just jokes. Like, I know if I go into a room and there, like, it's a funny line, but it's also valuable of, I always know, like, audience want to come away with one thing. So if I'm going to go into that room, I'm going to say, how many of you have ever had that pain in the ass seller who's like, what are you doing to market my listing? I know, because I know the room, everyone's had that person unless they've done no deals. You've always had that person. So I was like, what if for $1 a day, you can make sure they always saw an ad for their property? On Facebook, you can target their house with an ad so that anytime they log into Facebook because they're at home, they will see an ad for their property. It's going to cost you $1 a day. One, you get last because of the pain in the ass part, but then they're like, it's fucking brilliant. And then I'd be like, okay, now imagine another scenario. Now, what if you have a listing appointment coming up and you targeted that house with client testimonial videos for your upcoming listing appointment? And then people start saying, like, okay, now there's different ways we can
Where
do it,
can
right?
I write these down?
Yeah, and that's kind of like what you want to do. And I now, like, I used to when I spoke, like, that would just be like when I get to targeting, I would do that.
Yeah.
I've switched it now. So that's the first thing I do. So I open my presentation, I say, hi, I'm Andrew, I explain my story. And they go, I know people go to conferences, they just want that one thing they can take away. So before I get into my presentation, I can give you that one thing you can take away, then you could leave. If you want to stay for the rest of the presentation, I'd appreciate it. But I'm going to give you that one thing. And then I go into that targeting thing of like targeting the sellers, targeting the list price, but like that very specific thing. Then I go into my presentation because I got their attention. I showed them that overwhelming quick win value. Now I know they're going to pay attention to the rest of my presentation. And then I'm going to repeat something at the end and then give them something.
Yeah.
But I always find that just like, whether it's related to your presentation or not, opening with like, basically the idea is like, what's the quickest win you could get someone? So on the topic you guys are talking about tomorrow, what's the single quickest win that like they could literally implement on the spot or that day that you could give them? If you lead with that, they're hooked and you win. Almost doesn't matter what else you say.
Yeah.
You've already won.
Boom. Boom. Mic drop.
Hey. So it's
1 a.m.
my phone's dead.
It's 12:50.
Or my watch is dead. So it's shit. So that's the end of this impromptu over a pint.
Wait, I have a gift. Can you grab the black bag beside you?
Where is it? This one?
Yeah.
Wow.
For me.
That's
It's
a mic
for
drop.
you.
You didn't know Jeff and Matt? Like,
No,
Matt
I didn't know
cleared-
they were coming.
But no, we also didn't.
We also didn't know we were coming.
Am I opening this here? Like
Sure.
on camera?
Yeah.
You're setting a bar for.
There's two?
There's two things.
Yeah. No other guest gave me a gift. Actually, no, that's not true. Amy Youngren sent me one after.
Oh, that's so nice of her. She's
But you brought it
amazing.
on stage, like
I know.
stage.
So you're the t-shirt guy. And it's one of those things you do.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, like you've done a lot for like my family, and so you are part of our team.
Team Lachlan.
Which I have to say, the like Paul Hannon episode, I started to cry. I had to turn it off.
Why? We were
He just
super
talked
cool.
about how you guys fundraised for him, and I was like, oh, I didn't know they were going to talk about this.
Yeah, fucking love Paul.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the nerdiest thing.
I know, but they don't exist, so.
You have it made?
Yeah.
You guys will never get this right. If you give this
Yeah,
reference, I will give you
I-
each $500 if you can figure this out. Personally guarantee you don't know.
The person that made it was like, what is this? And
Literally,
they made
my
up some
tattoo is
story.
related to it. It's the only tattoo I have, and it's directly related to this, and no one's gonna get it, and I'm not gonna tell anyone because I love it.
Well, if you ever wear it and someone knows, you know that they
It's
know
true.
your shit.
I know they're good.
You should give them like a free like.
This is like the nerdiest fucking thing ever, and it's amazing. So it's
Is it
like,
nerdier than the Lord shirt?
yes.
Oh, okay.
This is all over my.
This
head
is
right now.
basically right here if Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings had a baby.
That was like
I was-
that's
12,000
like-
books long.
It's 4 million, no, 2.5 million
Oh.
words. There's 4,400 named characters in this series, and Amazon's making a show about it. And it's gonna be awesome.
And that's over a pint.
Oh, welcome to the latest episode. All right.
We're gonna go back.
wrapping this up because I have to be up in 5 hours to host the fucking conference. And once again, Jess keeping me up the night before I speak,
It's not
trying
my
to keep
fault.
up with her. It's 100%
You guys
your
all
fault.
talked a lot.
2 out of 2.
I thought it was a great episode. A lot of value.
If
I
anyone
mean-
watches to the end, do you
I
give them
think
a
it was-
bonus?
So every now and then we actually do. So I did an episode with Ralph Stancio, and we talked for a while, and we added at the end like just this quick little, hey, if you, I can't remember what we said, like if you do X, we're like you can get an hour consulting with each of us. No one took it. The best one, and this is a good one for you. I had Nicholas Kuzmich, top Facebook ad guy in the world,
yeah.
100 grand a day on Facebook
Listen to
ads.
it. Yeah.
On the thing, he's like, I'm looking for an agent right now. I want to buy 1
Oh,
to
I
2
remember
properties a
this,
month
yeah.
in Toronto or Mississauga. And he's like, I'm like, well, who's your agent? He's like, I don't have one. I'm like, how would you find him? He's like, well, I just asked you. I'm like, can we make it someone who's watching the show? He's like, absolutely. So we're like, let's figure out a challenge. She's like, oh, wait, so I remember. So it's submit a 60-second video on why Nick should hire you to buy 1 to 2 properties a month. Top 9 will get a copy of his book. Top 1, that's their new agent.
Was there 0?
0 people responded.
Yeah.
3 weeks later, I told this story at a conference. One guy went into the hall and filmed it, but I'd already referred him to a client because it was like,
Yeah.
And 3 weeks later, no one responded. I was like, here, this guy deals with investors. Just go talk to him.
Yeah.
But I was like, literally, this guy was saying, like, 1 to 2 properties a month in Mississauga, for some people, that's just a career.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
like literally, you could make a career
I think I
off
made a
that,
joke of like,
'cause there's
I
no
moved
cost.
to Mississauga.
I would start selling again. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, that's zero cost. Like, it's the cost of
Totally.
gas.
Yeah.
Totally.
You don't
I
even
could,
need a
like,
website.
hire
And I
someone
saw
to
like
this-
he lived in Lakeview. Like his one house was like
Yeah.
$2 million already that he was selling.
He
like,
bought a $3.5 million one.
Yeah.
So he bought $3.5 million and is selling for $2 million.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
5. So
So
basically,
are you gonna do a
2.5.
bonus for this episode?
What do you guys want it to be? So how about this? Well, you guys figured the challenge. The winner gets a group Zoom with the 4 of us with them, and we focus on their biggest challenge for
Deal.
up to 1
Oh,
hour
okay.
as a group.
Deal.
But you guys have to decide what the person has to do to get that.
Comment at least. Watch the. Oh, I think they have to make it to the end of the video. I'm making it very easy. No, what do you guys want to do?
Friend all 4 of us.
Okay,
And then
yeah.
comment on the video.
Yeah.
With what? It can't just be like they write comment.
No.
The name of this
What's their
book,
challenge?
show.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
no, that's too hard.
No, like
What? You
How am I
just said
supposed to
it's
even Google that?
Amazon thing making this.
they're
thing.
making like 50
You
shows
can
right now.
Google that.
Sure.
No, they won't get it. That's too hard. We'll get 0 people.
Okay, if you get the if you comment with what the biggest challenge is, we'll pick someone. If you also get the show, I'll give you a year for free in the Wheelhouse Elite
Whoa!
for the first person.
Impressive.
I'm so gonna be that guy.
Good luck.
I can't wait to see people's like Google searches. Like, what is
My
that?
bet, nobody does anything.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That was a long episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to bed.
Not the longest.
Yeah.
So,
Tomorrow.
quick last minute. If people will start, Matt, Jessica, and Jeff.
Oh yeah.
If people want to get a hold of you, reach out to you, send you a referral, how do they get a hold of you?
You can just Google me, Matt Richling. Anything,
spell it.
any address in Ottawa, you can Google that, and it'll probably come up.
Easy.
Very well done. Jessica Hellard, real estate. So that's Instagram or Facebook, or if you put that in Google. But
Yep.
in case you're in the islands.
If you search Jeff Ham like the meat, HAM, or
It's tasty, though.
The Fresh Approach, either of those will work.
Is it the Jeff Ham team?
So it's Jeff Ham Team The Fresh Approach.
Fresh
That's what
ham.
it's called. Yeah, Fresh Ham. Hashtag Fresh Ham.
You get one fresh ham.
That's it.
No, I can't.
That's our closing gift. Here's a ham.
It's fresh.
That's cute.
Make
Great
sure to cook
ideas
that.
at 1 a.m.
So thanks for tuning in. Next week, actually, we don't do them weekly anymore. So the next episode, whenever we decide, I don't know who the guest is, to be honest. I didn't even know who these guests were going to be until we started filming. And even when they were in the room, I didn't know if they were going to be on the show or not. So I
Surprise.
assume it will be good.
It'll be good.
That's my big assumption.
Yeah.
is
There's
that-
confidence. There's confidence there.
Yeah, sure.
Should be great.
I'm,
It's-
2020.
I'm generous.
2020.
On that note, we're
Peace.
done. See ya.
Good
Bye.
night.